Hi, everybody. It's your neighborhood friend, Theo Kirkley. I'm not even sure why I'm laughing. Some of these videos are pretty ridiculous, but I think they have value. So, yes, I am running for president in 2028. Me. I'm also considering going to NMSU, which is a local college here in Grants. There's like four different colleges across the state, and one of them is here in Grants. Meanwhile, I'm considering like my morality and how important that is. I think it's very unlikely that I would become president in 2028. I think the chances are quite low. I'm not even gonna give a number of what my chances are, but that's not important. What's important is that I can become somebody that can't be co-opted, that I have such a rock solid morality that I can never change my views or my opinions or values for anyone. And it's funny because you can't really say rock solid morality because morality in itself is rock solid. It's God's views on any given subject. It's what is loving, it is what follows God's laws. And if you have morality, then it's something that is inside of your soul. And it can't be moved, it can't be changed, it can't be retracted. And that's the goal, brothers and sisters. That's my goal. I don't know if it's your goal, but to actually have morality. And what it takes is, I'm getting a little emotional here, but it takes you looking at all of the error that's inside of you. And this is all from Divine Truth Teachings, so there's nothing new here. God's truth is not new. It's just a lot of people don't know it. That's all. God's truth is God's truth, and it's eternal, and it's unchanging. So, yeah, I think about, you know, my life and what I want to do going forward. And honestly, the idea of conducting a presidential campaign, whether I lose or not, is exciting to me. And that's why I've decided that I want to pursue that. But, I also am very interested in environmental science. I don't understand aquifers. Did you know there are two types of aquifers? There's like a big cavernous cave underground, just this open space where there's a whole bunch of water stored. And then there's an aquifer where like half of it is um, it's like within water. It's in shale, it's in mud, it's in porous rock. So there's two types of aquifers, and I'm sorry I don't recollect the terms of each of them here, but this is important for us to know. We don't understand about our basic water systems. I'm trying to understand what water tables are. I live in Grants, New Mexico, and there was a time when we were the carrot capital of the world. That's what we called ourselves at that time. And ourselves, I wasn't here, but I volunteer at the local museum where we share the history of Grants and the Cibola County. Um, but yeah, at that time, we had delicious carrots that went everywhere. It went all the way to the Northeast. They went all the way to the Northeast. And then mining operations came to the area. And in mining, there's a lot of water that's used to separate like uranium from other elements in the ore that you extract from the ground. And there was a lot of the water rights were bought, and the carrot crop disappeared, and the water table sunk. So that means the water that you can extract from the ground, you now have to dig a deeper well to get water. And we've had a drought for about 5 years, and there's not much farming done around here. But when we look at the future, when we look at climate change and the effects that's going to have across the world, oh my gosh, water is going to be pretty important. So my one of my advisors, you could say, some guy I know at the Cibola County History Museum, he says it's going to take 5 years, according to a geologist that came by, 5 years of rain, solid rain, to get the water table back to normal. And this is probably a better area than a lot of desert regions across the world. This area will probably bounce back better in difficult times than other regions, because it's kind of a valley in between mountains, and a valley is just mountains on either side, and the water is going to run off from the tops of the mountains down into this area. So when conditions are good, we can start farming again. But a lot of areas in the world, they're not as good, and the amount of work that it will take to rebuild the environment is going to be a lot. But I think about these things, and I think about morality, and I think about how important it is for me to change myself and to get into a better development of love. That's number one. And I was just thinking this morning, honestly, being completely honest, like maybe I won't tell you this, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some project that I want to work on, and honestly I'm putting that to the side because I want to pray more to my heavenly parent, and I want to learn more what God wants to share with me, and how God wants to help change me for the better, so that I can enjoy my life more, so that I can be a better person, so that I'm not sinning all the time against myself and against my brothers and sisters, and I can be in a better position to receive God's love for me. I am in a bad position right now to receive God's love for me. It is very hard to receive God's love for me, to feel God's love for me. I am rebellious against God. I am hateful and resentful and angry towards God, and I don't trust God. So, I try to look at my errors. I try to look at why some of my addictions are so long-standing and rooted so deeply within me. And it's not easy, but it's kind of nice because I feel like I keep asking for God's help, basically, and I feel like I have a supporting hand in all of this. Sometimes I don't feel that way, but I feel like when I ask for God's help, there's more of an understanding of what's wrong inside of me, and yeah, it just becomes more exposed, and that's difficult, but it's also good to see the problem. So, hope that makes sense. I'm also dealing with a major health issue. The side of my body, the right side of my body. I don't know if it's an issue with my spine or my ribs or my liver. I don't know if it's like an internal organ issue or some other issue, but it's in this one area. And if you are familiar with the Divine Truth Teachings, you would know that every illness, every malady, every disease that you have, even the injuries that you might attract, they are all caused by sin. Most especially your sin. But if you're a child under, say, 5 or 6 years old, most of those sins will be caused by the sin of your parents and or your caregivers and those around you. So it's not really the fault of a child. But I'm 40 years old, so that means 35 years of, you know, sin and 35 years of adopting the sin that other people said was good. And now it's my job, it's my obligation, if I want to be loving, if I want to enjoy my life, to uproot all of this sin and to see the error of it and to see this no longer serves me. There's no more purpose to this. I must change. Sorry, I feel like I'm on the edge of crack. I've been on the edge of cracking for the last few minutes, but just, yeah, this stuff means a lot to me. And when you think about politicians and media pundits and business moguls, and you think about what they say and you think about what they do and you see the lack of change in the world, it's because nobody is looking at their own issues for the most part. You know, here and there, a little bit people want to, change, but everybody's looking for the bottom line dollar, which is just power at the end of the day. And I also have a lot of issues with money and lust for power. So that's definitely an issue for me. Um, but at the same time, I don't think I need a lot to live. I have a little apartment here in Grants, New Mexico, and it's honestly too big for me. It would work better if I had someone that I was partnering with, somebody in my life, but it's too big for me. It's too much space. I mean, you can see here, that's my little table there. I don't need much. I'd like to have a better bed. This is my bed. This is my bedroom here, and it's my dirty laundry and suitcase over there. Here's my closet with my shirts. But I could use a little bit more if I had a little bit more money, but I don't need much. So anyway, thinking about going back to school, thinking about my future. I'm thinking about how to divvy up my time. I think time with God is so important, but it is so difficult for me to really invest my heart into the extra time that I have besides the things I need to do, like making a living. Um, I find it so difficult to really take the time and trust God that He's going to be there and He's going to want to help me um, to move forward. So I honestly feel like time in my addictions is more important. Time on my phone, time uh, watching videos, playing cell phone games, going out and watching movies, that sort of thing is better, is time better used. But of course, that can't be correct. So, but I think I need to spend some time following my passions. I need to spend some time, you know, taking care of myself, exercising, going for walks. I need to spend some time being social. I can't insulate myself. Everybody is insulating themselves. Um, Isolating, I should say. And that's really important too. But most important is taking time to pray and reflect on what's going on in your life, reflecting on your sin and your error, and also reminding yourself that you're the pinnacle of God's creation, that God does not judge you for your sin, but God does say that until you deal with your sin, you have to pay the penalty of it. God wants each of us to see the error of our ways and how our sin is affecting ourselves and others. So God did create the loving law of karma, you could say, or compensation, where sins have penalties and loving actions have rewards. So anyway, if I was president, I probably would not make. I probably would. I guess I would take whatever paycheck I was given, but I think it's probably like $200,000 a year right now. But all I would really need is about $50,000. Um, I plan to, if I was given some money or if I had a little bit of money to campaign, I would campaign and um, I would not have a security detail for the length of my campaign. And if I was president, I think I would either relieve the Secret Service or I would require that they remove their weapons. And if they want to quit, they can quit. But we are a gun hungry society. Nobody really is going to, very few people are going to appreciate the idea of dissolving the military, which is one thing that I want to do. But we have to do that. Um, it's so wrong what we do with the military. And it's kind of a cover for our lack of desire to work hard, lack of desire to take care of the environment, um, lack of desire to take care of the things that we have, and the keeping up with the Joneses, wanting more and more and more thing that we have. Um, yeah, it's all so wrong. This morning, one other thing I want to say is that can we be comfortable with negative growth, with negative GDP, less GDP next year than this year? In God's economy, there is no money. It's just plants and resources and, correct use of resources and loving use of resources and, um, you know, abundance in God's system is not more money in the bank. Abundance in God's system is more fruits, more flowers, more trees, more bushes, less concrete sidewalks, less concrete or paved roads. And that's something that's difficult for a lot of people to imagine. But it's possible. Of course, human beings need trails, but we need to learn how to better live within the environment. And yeah, of course, we need houses, we need trails, and that's something you can consider when we help to create a better environment. But maybe less cars, maybe less car use. Ultimately, my understanding from Jesus and Mary is that we can teleport. That's something in our future. That's a potential that we have. So, you don't really need to have roads when you can easily teleport from one place on the earth to another. In our spirit form, we teleport easily. We move easily from one place to another. So that's something to consider. So I'm not saying that we need to get rid of all our cars tomorrow, but it's good to consider the future that we have in store for ourselves. So I encourage everyone to, look at the Divine Truth teachings, to consider that I'm not just some nut talking about this stuff. Love is the answer to everything. God is our parent. God is I don't know if you want to say the master of love, the owner of love, or he's the most loving entity there is. And it is in our interest to seek God's love and counsel and advice and assistance and truth. So I suggest everyone take a look at the Divine Truth teachings and consider that I'm not some crazy dude. I think it's very possible that I would die if I ran a campaign to become president. Somebody would kill me. I don't think that's such a bad thing. Or if I became president, I think it would not be long before I was killed. But that's, again, not such a bad thing. The important thing, as I try to keep stressing to myself, is that I actually become moral. I'm not a very moral person, but I recognize some desire in myself to become moral. And I see that as something that we all can achieve. Each one of us can go from this place of sin and hell to a place of love, actual love. Righteousness, not in the sense of anger and self and indignation, but in the sense of actually being moral. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say here. But Godspeed, and take your life seriously and your future seriously. And seek God's love, seek God's truth, and feel your emotions. Thanks for watching.